You think the black market is just a sketchy guy in a dark alley opening a trench coat? You imagine cheap fake watches and stolen car radios. You are completely wrong. The global shadow economy is a $2 trillion machine. It is a highly sophisticated network of supply and demand that operates right in front of you. If someone wants something that the law forbids, the market provides it. There are no taxes, no regulations, and absolutely no refunds. The people who run this economy are not street thugs, they are masters of logistics. They wear tailored suits, operate shell companies, and dine with politicians. This is the strict hierarchy of the ultimate underground business. Every level you climb brings you more wealth, but also infinitely more danger. You start at the very bottom, dealing in pennies and looking out for local cops. But if you are smart, patient, and ruthless, you become the supplier for the world's most dangerous people. This is the dark side of global trade. Welcome to the invisible market. Level 1. The fence. You are 22 years old, working out of the back room of a dusty pawn shop. You do not steal things yourself. That is a foolish risk. You let desperate people do the risky work for you. A nervous kid walks into your shop holding 3 brand new laptops. You know exactly where they came from, but you never ask questions. He wants $2,000. You offer him exactly $400 in cash. He takes it because he needs the money today. You immediately wipe the hard drives and replace the serial number stickers. By the afternoon, you sell the laptops to an overseas buyer online for $3,000. You are a professional middleman. You deal in stolen electronics, designer bags, and expensive jewelry. The police occasionally visit your shop looking for reported stolen goods, but your inventory is perfectly hidden behind a fake wall in the storage room. You smile, offer the officers coffee, and show them your legitimate accounting books. They leave with nothing, and you go back to counting your daily profits. You are making $10,000 a month in pure, untaxed cash. You buy a nice watch and a decent car. But dealing with street thieves is exhausting and completely unpredictable. Sometimes they try to rob you. Sometimes they bring the police right to your door. You realize that retail crime is small-minded. You want to stop buying things piece by piece. You want to start buying in bulk. You look at the massive shipping port at the edge of the city. That is where the real money is waiting. Level 2. The port operator. You are 28. You close the pawn shop and step into the world of international logistics. You realize that customs agencies cannot physically inspect every single shipping container. They only check about 3% of the cargo that enters the country. Your job is to make sure your containers are never in that 3%. You are importing high-end counterfeit luxury goods from overseas factories, fake designer clothes, perfectly cloned luxury watches, and untaxed pharmaceuticals. To do this, you need a ghost in the system. You find a corrupt customs inspector struggling with gambling debt. You pay him $10,000 in an envelope to look the other way for 5 minutes. He approves your shipping manifest without a physical inspection. Your massive steel container arrives safely at a warehouse you leased under a fake company name. When you open the heavy metal doors, it is a gold mine. A container that cost you $50,000 to buy and ship will sell for $500,000. You distribute the goods to hundreds of smaller fences and street vendors. You are no longer dealing with end consumers. You are a wholesale distributor. You upgrade your lifestyle. You wear tailored suits and rent a luxury apartment. But dealing in bulk means dealing with organized syndicates. A local gang finds out about your warehouse and demands a 30% cut of your business. If you say no, they will simply take the entire container and burn the warehouse down. You realize that you need protection to operate at this level. You hire a private security team of former military contractors. You pay the gang off once, and then you heavily fortify your operations. You are safe for now, but the game is getting significantly heavier. You decide to transition to a cargo that is much smaller, but infinitely more valuable. Level 3. The Antiquities Dealer. You are 34. You leave fake goods behind and move into stolen history. The black market for stolen art and historical artifacts is extremely lucrative. Your clients are no longer street vendors. You are dealing with corrupt billionaires, eccentric collectors, and foreign oligarchs. These people want things that museums refuse to sell. A team of professional thieves steals a Renaissance painting from a gallery in Europe. The painting is too famous to ever be sold publicly. It is effectively hot. The thieves contact you through an encrypted network to fence the item. You arrange a meeting with a wealthy collector on his private yacht in international waters. You transport the canvas rolled up inside an architect's blueprint tube. The collector has his personal art expert verify the authenticity of the brushstrokes. The expert nods. The painting is real. The collector transfers $5 million in cryptocurrency to your offshore account. The painting will be hung in a secret, climate-controlled vault, never to be seen by the public again. You take a 20% commission for connecting the thief to the buyer. It is elegant, quiet, and extremely profitable. But the authorities that hunt stolen art are not regular police. You are being tracked by Interpol and specialized cultural heritage task forces. They do not kick down doors. They follow the money quietly for years. You realize that physical objects are becoming too difficult to transport safely. Every border crossing is a massive risk of a multi-million-dollar seizure. You need to transition to a market that operates completely off the physical grid. You look toward the most profitable and dangerous industry in the modern world. You step into the digital shadows. Level 4. The Hardware Broker. You are 40. You have built a flawless reputation for discretion. A private military syndicate approaches you with a massive logistical problem. They need specialized, unregulated hardware delivered to a conflict zone in Africa. They cannot buy this equipment legally without triggering international red flags. You agree to facilitate the deal. The cargo consists of advanced night vision goggles, encrypted radios, and heavy tactical vehicles. You contact a corrupt factory manager in Eastern Europe who is willing to produce the gear off the books. You arrange for the cargo to be shipped disguised as agricultural machinery. The shipping manifests are forged flawlessly by your network. You fly to a private airstrip in the desert to oversee the final transfer. The tension at the airstrip is absolute. You are surrounded by highly trained, heavily armed mercenaries who do not trust you. The cargo plane lands in the middle of the night with no lights on. The mercenaries inspect the hardware. Every piece is exactly as promised. The syndicate leader hands you an aluminum briefcase. Inside are certified, untraceable bearer bonds worth $10 million. You nod, take the briefcase, and walk back to your private jet. You feel invincible, acting as the quartermaster for ghost armies. But the intelligence agencies have noticed the sudden influx of high-tech gear in the region. The CIA begins mapping the supply chain backwards from the conflict zone. You realize that dealing in physical hardware leaves a heavy trail of breadcrumbs. Shipping containers, flight logs, and factory bribes all leave a physical record. You decide to sell your physical logistics network to a cartel and disappear. You move to the only commodity that is completely weightless: data. Level 5. The Cyber Broker. You are 45. You deal exclusively in the most valuable currency on Earth: information. You operate entirely on encrypted networks deep in the dark web. Your inventory consists of zero-day exploits, corporate secrets, and stolen identities. A rogue hacker group contacts you. They have breached a major defense contractor. They have the blueprints for a next-generation stealth drone. The hackers want to sell it, but they don't have the connections to find a buyer safely. You act as the escrow service. You lock the encrypted data in a secure server that only you control. You reach out to a foreign intelligence agency known for aggressive espionage. You offer them the drone blueprints for $50 million in cryptocurrency. The transaction is fully digital, instantaneous, and completely anonymous. You take a massive $5 million cut just from making the introduction. There are no shipping containers, no airstrips, no physical evidence whatsoever. You live in an ultra-secure penthouse in Singapore, surrounded by luxury. You feel like a digital god, moving global power with a few keystrokes. But dealing in state secrets puts you on the radar of the NSA. They cannot find your physical location, but they are analyzing your digital footprint. They create specialized algorithms just to hunt your specific communication style. You begin to experience extreme paranoia. You destroy your laptops every week and use a new encrypted phone every day. You trust no one. If an associate makes a mistake, the NSA will trace it back to you. The walls of your beautiful penthouse feel like a cage. You decide you need to do one final massive deal to retire forever. A deal so big that it will secure your freedom or end your life. Level 6, the state supplier. You are 50. You agree to the ultimate black market contract. A highly sanctioned nation, completely cut off from the global economy, contacts you. They need critical aerospace components to finish a restricted satellite program. Selling this hardware directly violates international embargoes. The contract is worth $100 million. You use every connection, every shell company, and every favor you have ever built. You purchase the components legally in Europe through a fake agricultural company. The parts are shipped to a neutral port in South America. From there, they are transferred to a ghost ship that turns off its tracking transponders. The logistics are a flawless masterpiece of deception. The ghost ship successfully arrives in the sanctioned nation. The aerospace components are unloaded. The $100 million drops into your heavily encrypted offshore accounts. You did it. You completed the impossible deal. But providing restricted tech to an embargoed nation crosses a massive red line. You are no longer treated as a criminal. You are treated as a severe threat to national security. The CIA, Interpol, and MI6 form a joint task force specifically to hunt you down. They don't just want to arrest you, they want to completely dismantle your entire existence. They intercept a decrypted message from one of your old associates. The associate traded your real name for full immunity. The invisible wall protecting you suddenly shatters. Your bank accounts in Switzerland are frozen instantly. The international red notice goes live on every server in the world. The hunters know exactly where you are sleeping tonight. Level 7, the burned asset. It is 3 a.m. Your secure phone rings with a specialized warning tone. You have exactly 10 minutes before the tactical teams breach your door. You don't pack clothes, you only grab a pre-staged emergency bag. Inside is a clean passport, diamonds, and hardware wallets with untraceable funds. You trigger a massive electromagnetic pulse inside your penthouse. Every server, every hard drive, and every phone is instantly destroyed. You slip down the service elevator just as the front doors explode inward. You can hear the heavy boots of the strike team swarming your empty apartment. You make it to a waiting helicopter on a nearby roof. You fly to a private airstrip where a jet is waiting with the engines running. By the time the sun rises, you have crossed into a country with no extradition treaties. You purchase a heavily guarded compound on a cliff overlooking the ocean. You have hundreds of millions of dollars. You won the game. But your life as a global broker is permanently over. If you step outside the borders of this specific country, you will be arrested immediately. You are a ghost, trapped in a massive, beautiful prison. You cannot call your family. You cannot contact old friends. You spend your days walking around your massive estate surrounded by armed guards. Every time a new boat appears on the horizon, your heart races. Every time a helicopter flies overhead, you wonder if it is a black ops team. You built the ultimate black market empire, and it cost you your freedom. You have everything money can buy and absolutely nothing else. You sit on the balcony, watching the sunset, knowing you can never leave. Welcome to the Golden Cage.